Beautiful people, what's going on? Welcome back to another episode of the GPS Podcast. Grow your passions to success. Where?
We give you the roadmap to success.
Can y'all ask her to speak up, please? We're going to start having a live audience come to these. When we get a live audience, I'm going to have y'all ask her to speak up. If y'all can't hear her, that means she's not loud enough. So
that wasn't loud enough?
Live audience, your job is going to be to keep her on point. So when she's not loud enough, y'all can help her be loud enough. That's going to be y'all assignment. So I'm going to work on setting up the live audience when we shoot these podcasts.
Fine, set up a live audience.
We're going to do that. So anyway, even though you seeing this on YouTube, you may be listening to this and you may be listening to them in a row, we haven't recorded in a while. It's like we've been recording all kind of stuff. So it feels, strange being back recording another podcast episode, but we got some heat for you today. But before we get to the podcast episode, how was your day today?
It was great. You know what I thought about today? I thought about it yesterday. I need to find a way to monetize being extremely organized and detail-oriented and able to, even though people say you can't multitask, being able to accomplish multiple tasks in a day. I need to figure out how to monetize that.
Can I hire you I hire you for the back office of... I just put out a release today that I'm going to do a master class that starts in 2 weeks. Can I hire you?
Well, honestly, what I would like to do is get my stuff together.
Yeah.
And take Marquell's class.
Yeah. Well, client attraction.
Mm-hmm. So then, I just realized what I want to do is what we're going to talk about today. But anyway, I literally thought yesterday, I'm really good. I'm extremely organized. I need to monetize that because I get compliments a lot on how organized I am and how well I take care of business. Not just paperwork, but just take care of business. Like I get things done. And there has to be a way to monetize that because I'm realizing that not very many people do that.
Did you know Marquell is going to be a guest on our show in a few months?
I did know that.
Oh, yeah.
Yes.
He agreed to do the podcast. So
yes, I knew that.
So shout out to Marquell Russell, Client Attraction University, King of Client Attraction, Atlanta, what up, A-Town down, all that. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, you feel me?
So my day went very well. Yesterday, what's today, Wednesday? Monday, got stuff done. Tuesday, got stuff done. Wednesday. Yesterday, I was so done yesterday that the work they usually end about 4:30, 5 o'clock.
Right.
I was so done yesterday, but by 3:30, I was like, what else is there to do today?
Jumped on that young PS5.
I did jump on the PS5 because I had time today. And I got time today, too.
Damn.
Even though I'm doing this podcast.
It's a good life, y'all. Jumping on that young PS5 on a work day. We don't got no school this week, though, so it's a little bit,
True, not having school did help. But, I mean, even when we do have school, my day-to-day tasks, they get done.
That's what's up. I got work done. You know what? It's because I'm the complete opposite, and I'm not really that organized like you. I started arranging my days and saying that whatever doesn't get done at a certain time is not getting done. Just because I'm like...
But what if I need you to get something done?
I mean, if you need something specific, then you ask, but...
Are you going to prioritize my needs before yours?
Yes.
You will?
Most of the time.
Can you look into the camera and say that, please?
Cap. So... here's the thing, funny. Right? There's something that happens. This probably happens. I know this happens to you because we're in the same grind together. Mm-hmm. I get pulled by people in all these different directions. Mm-hmm. And people are like, oh, I can do this. And they tell me about all the great things they can do. Mm-hmm. And then I get in a situation where they can't do them. And so I got to come back in now and cover down for the slack of what people said they could do because I commit to something because they tell me they can get things done. So I'm like, okay, cool. I don't got to take the lead. And then I end up still having to take the lead.
And then I end up having to take a back seat and I'm not prioritized. That's a problem.
Here's the thing. Here's the thing about when I have to take the lead for these things. You end up having to work on projects that you didn't even know you was going to be a part of.
Is that what happened?
Because I get pulled into it. I'm like, well, I'm going to let my assistant get to y'all.
Exactly.
And then, you know what I'm saying? So it's crazy. So today's episode, we're going to give the people a lot of value. I wanted to talk about something that really changed my life. And I think that people can get a lot of value from it is And is it like, it's one of those things like, is it fact or fiction, or is it a myth, or is it true? Not a flat Earth. We're not doing a flat Earth today.
We're not going to do that.
Nah.
I think we
flat
should do that.
Earthers out there though. One day we'll bring you on the podcast and destroy and obliterate your beliefs. But that's not today. Today we're gonna stick to entrepreneurship. So the thing is, the value of a coach, right, or a mentor, or in not even just entrepreneurship, but ranging from just in life in general. And I'm picking this topic because there's this almost sarcastic type of mindset that deals with entrepreneurship that says, and there's memes and stuff all on social media, like, if you're an entrepreneur, this is how entrepreneurs, like, I forget how it was, a brother did one, it was hilarious. Like, all entrepreneurs be like, all you got to do is wake up at 4 a.m. Once you up at 4 a.m, you got to go. Man, now listen, you get your LLC, you want to get your S Corp. Once you get your S Corp, you get your taxes right, you get your tax professional, but your tax professional will need a tax strategist. After you get your tax strategist, and they just running on with it, right? Which, I get it in a sense.
What's the joke? I don't get it.
The joke is like that all entrepreneurs, essentially, when they're online, have this same spiel, right? But here's the thing. What they don't say in all of the memes is that most of these entrepreneurs that are saying this is getting a bag. So people be like, oh, you make money selling courses. Well, selling courses is no different than selling shoes or selling jackets or selling clothes, whatever selling cars. People sell and people buy. Mm-hmm. So if you got a course and people are buying it from you, it makes sense to sell it. Okay. People are like, the only reason you got money, people. So here's the thing, and then we'll get into this. People say, how can you help me make money if the only reason you have money is because I bought your course? So they're like, you don't actually know how to make money. You just sell this course that I bought from you, and that's why you're making money. But the reason I'm able to sell you the course is because I have the expertise in the thing that you're buying, right? There are some frauds out there that will make a course, know nothing about it, and sell it to you, right? Like if me, Brother Henry, made a course on how to be a handyman, I'd be a straight fraud, right? You bring me to your house to do a demonstration. They're like, what's this? It's a hammer. I'm trying to chew on it because I don't know what to do with it. You know what I'm saying? Well, got the drill, chasing children with it. I don't know. I'm not a handyman.
I mean, you can ask that question to the average college professor, especially in 2023.
Facts.
I mean, you can ask the college professor, what gives you the expertise that I should be paying for this course? Because in college, we take courses.
Facts.
We take courses in college, and we pay a lot of money for those courses. A
lot of money.
So what gives this particular professor the course or the expertise, or not even the expertise, but when you're picking courses in college, you don't pick courses based on who's teaching them. You pick the course based on the information that you're going to learn in that course.
Right.
So, I mean, I guess I kind of understand the joke, but and I'm an entrepreneur, so I'm kind of biased, but
you also a former college student. You have 3 degrees.
This is true. But anyway, that's not the point. The point is, I would look at it like, I wouldn't look at who's teaching it per se. Mm-hmm. I would look at what I'm going to gain from the course more so than the person that's offering it. Sure. Because when we get ready to go to college, we look at the university as a whole, and then we decide to go to college and we take out loans and stuff to pay for it. We don't necessarily go to we don't pick a college because it's the cheapest. I mean, most of us don't. Well, I don't know, actually. I don't know what people do today. But with my own child, right, we're looking at what does she want to do in life and what university is going to offer her the best education to further what it is that she wants to do in life. So she wants to be a doctor, and specifically she wants to find a cure to cancer. Okay, well, what courses does she need to take in order to be able to do that? So
that's crazy.
As someone who either is not an entrepreneur or looks to be an entrepreneur, I would look at what course is being taught more so than look at the person talking about their courses. I would go out and Google how to open a small business, right? And who's going to give me the best education on how to open a small business, not who's the best small business teacher. I don't think that's the way to look at it.
I think it's an issue with mindset. Well, let me go get to that mindset issue. But first, you just pointed out something that's brilliant. People will pay $50,000 a year to go to college to take courses, and this course is not showing you how to make immediate money, right? And then I'll get to the mindset thing. But you can get a coach, and let's say the coach charges you $10,000, $15,000, whatever they charge you, $20,000. You get a high ticket coach. There's a reason they're charging that amount. They have an expertise in that area, they're immediately going to show you how to get results. But you go to college and you're spending all this money, and college don't give you no. Matter of fact, college puts you in debt for the most part.
To be honest with you, an entrepreneur who's teaching you a very specific skill is more valuable. And people may argue with me about it, and they could say I'm fronting because I have college degrees. But nonetheless, as someone who has college degree and who's been on both sides of it, the information that I gained from entrepreneurs was more valuable to me than the prerequisite that I took for introduction to oceanography. Like,
True.
You know what I'm saying? Like, I had to take a prerequisite in science or whatever the case may be. So I chose intro to oceanography, thinking, oh, look, water, that sounds fun. No, that ish was boring app. That produced zero value to my life. It added zero value other than I got credit for that course in college. Whereas the information that I learned from Professor Devin and that information that we paid $15,000 for, he taught us one on two because it was both of us. But the information that I learned from him, way more valuable than intro to oceanography.
Matter of fact, even outside of our beauty supply store, we were able to take the information we learned from him. I having that coach, I remember I got invited to speak at an event, and I heard other entrepreneurs speaking, and his sister was speaking. I won't say her name, but she was speaking, and she was like, in the last 10 years, this is what I learned. And she talked about the stuff that she learned in the last 10 years, and I was like, that's when it clicked to me, like, damn, he put us way ahead of the game. It took her 10 years to get to the point, and she was behind the ball of where he started us at. Mm-hmm. And I was like, oh, this is serious. Like, it
and that's just one coach at this point.
And so back to this mindset thing I was saying, right? People say stuff like, well, all this information is on YouTube. It is true, right? Most of this information is on YouTube. But you gotta, if you don't know what you're looking for, you're never going to find it. Like, if you don't know, let's say you're looking for how to build up a lead magnet, right? Mm-hmm. And you want to learn how to, like, set up your funnel a certain way. Well, it's on YouTube, but if you don't even know what a lead magnet is, you never heard of it, you're not even going to know to go look for it. But when you sit down with a coach and a coach shows you, and then you go to YouTube and you type it in, you're like, oh, there's 100 people teaching this. But you had no clue it even existed until you got with that coach. So there's value there because the coaches take away the time, trial and error piece of trying to research this and find things and go through that process. So there's something to this coaching thing and having a mentor. There's something there that people are missing.
I mean, there is. Like, for me, the greatest coach I ever had, Coach William Winfield, shout out RIP, Coach Winfield in King High School. He was my high school basketball coach. He's the greatest coach I've ever had in my life. And if you think about sports and the word coach, there is no sport that exists that doesn't have a coach. Even sports that you do by yourself. Tiger Woods has a coach. I don't know if they call him coach, but Serena and Venus Williams have a coach.
Facts.
The best athletes in the world have coaches. And we know, like brothers like to say, these coaches may or may not be in the gym shooting with them. I don't know if Tiger Woods is walking the golf course with him. I don't know, other than Serena Williams' father, if they coach was really on the tennis court with them. But in the middle of that Grand Slam, in the middle of the matches, Serena got to go talk to somebody on the side because there's somebody who has insight. There's somebody who has value that can add to her game, and that person's name is coach. Thanks. And, like, I mean, coaches, we need them in life. You know what I'm saying? Like, we're born with them. We call them mom and dad, but mom and dad is just a coach that guide us through life.
First life coach.
That's all they are. Mom and dad. The mom and dad is our first coach, and then after mom and dad, then we go to school and we call our coaches teacher, Mr. and Mrs. such and such. And then after that, if we get into sports, we call our coaches such and such. And then after that, hopefully for the majority of black people going forward, we get entrepreneurs who are coaches for us and they help guide us. Or we get into the church and we don't call them coach, we call them pastor. You know what I'm saying? There's coaches all around us, so you can make jokes about it and you can have memes about it. You know, in 2023, that's what we do. But you have coaches all around you. They don't necessarily call them coach pastor, coach teacher, coach mom, whatever the case may be.
It was interesting for me was going back to Professor Devin. Professor Devin, being the first business coach we had, he showed me stuff that black people could do that I didn't know we could do. Not that I didn't know we could do it, right? It wasn't until I seen Professor Devin, not only is this my book, but I wrote it, and I don't sell my book in Amazon or on Barnes and Noble. You got to get it from me because I keep 100% of the profit. I was like, holy the concept never crossed my mind. I was like, I could write a book and keep 100% of the profit? I was like, yo, that's when I started writing my book. When I seen him have his books, I started writing my book. I was like, yo, wait a second. I'm missing part of the game. He was like, so he broke it down to me like how the rappers break it down. He's like, yo, you know, in the rappers, you get signed to a major label, you can sell 1 million records. But your 1 million records compared to the independent artists, they might have to sell like maybe 20,000. Their 20,000 is equal to your 1 million because you're only getting points off your record, and they're getting like 80, 90% of the profit off their record. So when I see him say that, I'm like, yo, wait, I can keep all the profit to my book? So I got to pay, of course, to get it published. Right. But after, let's say my book costs $8 to get published.
Not even to get published, just to get it printed.
Just to get it, exactly, to get printed. So I pay $8 to get it printed, but I'm selling it for $25. I'm like, yo, this is a flip. So for me, I'm like, yo, Coaches is the lit. Wait a second. And Professor Devin, like, the knowledge of stuff that he had, that he showed us, like that summer when we was getting through, like doing baseball refereeing, coming home watching the quizzes, I was like, yo, where has this man been my whole life? You know what I'm saying? Like he was a whole level up. And then the thing for me is, it's just being around certain people. When they talk about like your circle of people you're around, having access to people who look like me, who are able to do things I've never seen us do before, changed my life. Like Marquell. Like I was talking to Marquell one day. He was like, man, you always giving me props. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, man, it's likewise. I love the work you're doing. I'm like, no, you don't understand. I'm like, it's none of the skill sets that I learned from Client Attraction University. None of that. If all he would have done was sat at the table and have the conversation like, yo, it's easy to make $1 million in a day. I never considered that we could make $1 million in a day. Like, it didn't even seem like a plausible thing. Like, $1 million in a day, man, I got a job. You know what I'm saying? Like, yo, I'm putting boxes on shelves. What you mean $1 million in a day? Like, I'm bringing home a $600 check after 2 weeks. You know what I'm saying? Like, what you mean $1 million in a day? But when he started showing, like, oh, no, it's easy. Man, listen, if you get this many clients, you can do this. This can run at the same time. You got passive money over here. Get some real estate. But you're like, wait a second. Like, and for most of us, like in our neighborhoods, even though we have there's this huge movement of like black entrepreneurs in the country, like we're like waking up to this idea, but like our neighborhoods, it's not like because you don't see us out there like that. It's not like the NBA where you see LeBron break the scoring record. Shout out to LeBron and that scoring record. All y'all MJ lovers out there, I love MJ too, but LeBron got the record though, dog. Anyway,
but hold on though. Huh? We need to pay our respects to the greatest of all time, Mr. Kobe Bryant.
Shout out to Kobe. He's number 4. Kobe. Kobe's ahead of Jordan on that list. Jordan's number 5. Kobe's number 4.
No. We're just talking about the greatest to ever do it.
But LeBron's number 1. Anyway, back to our regularly scheduled podcast. So what I'm trying to say is, right, what was I saying?
That Kobe was the greatest of all time.
I wasn't saying that. I was saying the circle of people that you're around is extremely important. Like just being around people. Just seeing men and women who looked like me that was doing like extraordinary things was life-changing. Like the person I was when I left for Atlanta died. The person I came back was a different person. Like it was like my eyes had been opened. It's like, you know, people get saved in the church.
It's like Jesus. He came and wiped some spittle on your eyes.
Spittle in my eye for real.
Lazarus.
When I heard it was a brother, I'm probably gonna mess his name up, Dr. Taylor, I can't think of his whole name, but Dr. Taylor, forgive me. It's the brother, he'd be with like Ben X and them or whatever, but he was sitting at the table at the event and he was pissed off. He was like, man, we only made like, you know, I think he said something like 2.8 or something like that. He said, we only made 2.8 million. And I was sitting at the table, I was like, yo, my man. I'm like, yo, can I ask you a question? He's like, yeah. I said, when you say you only made 2.8, you said on Tuesday? He's like, yeah. I'm like, you only made 2.8 on a Tuesday. My whole psyche, like, cognitive dissonance is kicking in. Everything's kicking in. I'm like, wait. 2.8, you mean million? He said, yeah. I'm like, you're upset that you only made 2.8 million on a Tuesday? So it didn't even register to me. He's like, yo, we run this play. We'll make $5, $6, $7 million. We run this play. We only made 2.8. He's like, I got to fix my team. I got to fire people. I got to get stuff in order. I'm like, who am I talking to?
That's kind of coach you need in your life.
That's the kind of coach you need in your life. Like that's crazy to me. I'm like, wait, what? And so here's the crazy part. He's talking like that to everybody else at the table. It's a normal day. I'm the only one like having a twilight moment. Like, do y'all hear what this man just said? 2.8. So while he's having that conversation, him 500 and there's a brother that was selling boats. Him 500 and the brother that's selling boats having a conversation behind us, and he's trying to get him 500 to invest money in boating. And him 500 like, nah, I just ran this play. I just put $5 million into this. So, you know, da-da-da-da. And I'm like, we just put $5 million into it? I'm like, wait a second, wait. I'm tripping, right? Because back home, if we put 500, 5,000 into something, it got to work. Mm-hmm. Like Avengers, this has got to work. Because if this don't work, I don't know what we're going to do. You know what I'm saying?
Unfortunately, people like that, they're not in the educational field. So one of the passions that I have with us opening our school is putting people like that in position to educate our babies, literally our babies.
Facts.
So it's important to me to leave a legacy, leave something behind. So I can make a lot of money, but I can't take none of that money with me.
Facts.
And so, you know, shout out to Kiekever's Academy. Shout out to Kiekever's Entrepreneurial Academy. But my dream and my goal and my hope is that we can have people like him 500 and Dr. Taylor and Mark Hurwitzel and David Shands and Donnie Wiggins and some of the names that are in the entrepreneur field come back and be, you know, professors at Kiekever's Academy.
Facts.
Teachers at Kiekever's Academy.
You know what I'm saying? I think he teaches it like
because the thing is, all of us 50 years from now, inshallah, most of us will still be here, but we may not be here 50 years from now. So what can all of us as a collective people who are making this money and have this knowledge, let's coach our babies, and then maybe we can start seeing some of our communities look different. So pockets of us making $5 million, but the bluff is in Atlanta, right?
Yeah.
The bluff is still in Atlanta, so it don't matter how much money.
The bluff is kind of cleaned up, though.
It's cleaned up now, but nonetheless.
That's the minister, though.
But still, there's neighborhoods, there's pockets of not even pockets. There's whole cities of neighborhoods across
Philly,
this country
Chicago, Detroit,
that's still
Houston,
struggling.
New York.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, facts.
Like that song that you played for me where the brother was talking about roaches in the cereal. I don't even know what song it was. I think it was Nas and somebody.
No, that was Ghostface.
Yeah, I'm like, people live like this? That's crazy. So my point is, shout out to Kiekever's Academy. And if some of those names that I drop hear this, then come pour into some of these babies, right?
Make sure y'all send this to David Shands, Donnie Wiggins.
Come pour into some of these babies with this knowledge that you have. And let's start to have these babies change the conditions of our neighborhood. Because you can't take all the money they spend. It don't matter how many boats you sell. Don't matter how many diamond watches you wear, diamond chains you wear. You can't take none of that with you. What are you going to leave here that the next generation coming behind you can now give praise to? Man, him 500, he poured into about 1,000 children. Now them 1,000 children poured into another 10,000, and them 10,000 poured into 100,000, them 100,000 poured into 1,000,000 because of something that he said.
You know what the black community doesn't do, based on what you're saying? And actually, this is one of the latest pitches I had on my Instagram page for clients, is we don't understand legacy properly. Like, you making a lot of money is cool, right?
Outside of finances, though.
Yeah,
it's
but this
much bigger than finances.
Follow where I'm going, though. The other cultures understand this well, and they guard us from actually doing what you're talking about, right? So think about this. Oprah, LeBron James, Shakira, George Clooney, Pitbull, who else is on that list? Madonna, I think. There's a whole list of people, right? But all of these celebrities own schools.
Really?
But here's the thing about the
I know
celebrities.
Oprah, but the other ones?
All those people own schools. Here's the thing, though. Like with LeBron, Kanye West, all these people that own schools, they don't own private schools. And most of them own either public or charter schools, meaning their name is on it. So there's something to owning a school to build a legacy.
Fact.
Because Martin Luther King said he was for integration for everything except for schools. He says schools, the minds of our babies, is more important than anything. He said that people that have a low opinion of black people can't teach the children because that's our most important resource. So it's something about building a school to leave a legacy that other cultures understand. Mm-hmm. They know you need to leave schools you need to have a school if you really want to leave a legacy.
Because where do children spend most of their time? Between 5 and 18 years old.
Right?
They spend an overwhelming majority of their time in
But here's the catch,
school.
though. Here's the catch. If you don't fully own the school, you can't fully control the school. So it might say LeBron James, and it might be for children that's low income, undeserved neighborhoods with blights, children who are underprivileged. It might have all of that. But if you don't control the narrative within the school, you're going to get the same results that you get in every other school.
True.
And so you see poor education across the board everywhere because we don't control the narrative. When children got to go to school and a black child is told Christopher Columbus discovered America, it messes his psyche up. He's trying to figure out, those Taino Indians look like me,
True.
right? He's like, we're not quite 100% the same, but we got similar features, right?
Wide nose, big lips.
How did black people get to America? We volunteer to come here as indentured servants, and then we love being in servants so much we just stay in servitude? If you don't control the narrative in the school continues to function as another slave-making factory.
It comes back to coaching.
It comes back to coaching.
The teachers, parents, those people are your first coaches. So it's important to either pick a course that's going to guide you in the right direction, or you can, I'm just going to say it, you can go to public school, and those aren't necessarily the best courses for
most public schools for black children are mental death factories. Because here's the thing, the boys are turned off by school, so boys drop out at an alarming rate, which I can relate to. Because I don't give a damn about George Washington. He's a hero. He owned slaves. His son was a serial rapist. So he could rape 20 black women and I'm supposed to celebrate him? Hell no, I'm not celebrating George Washington. I'm not celebrating Abraham Lincoln or Christopher Columbus, right? So as a young black man, I see that. I'm like, yo, I'm done with this. I'm about to go shoot pool. I'm about to go sell dope. I'm about to go hang out. I'm about to go chase women. Ain't nothing here.
But if you have a coach.
If you have the right coach.
That can reel you in.
Now think about the system. If a coach has you in a system that's on top of you, you're going to stay in that system. Like athletes become successful because they stay in the system that the coach creates for them.
True.
Like whoever Kobe's coaches was in high school, Jordan, LeBron, all these greats, Iverson or whoever, just pick an NBA player, NFL player, whatever, whoever the greats are, they stayed in the system.
Keyshawn is one of the greats.
What say y'all, audience? Right? The people stay in the system. So if you stay in the system's gonna. It's like a factory, like a what do you call those? Conveyor belt. The conveyor belt produces the same product every single time.
And the public school system produces the same product.
The girls who stay into the public school system, although women are the number one most black women are the number one most educated people in the country, and they're the most employed. They're employed with the low end jobs. They're employed with like the office jobs, social work type of jobs. They're employed with jobs, so they are on top, working the most. But there's a downside to it. They don't have a counterpart in a man that can equal where they're at or where they're going. So it creates friction and continues to break up with a family. So
I was about to say that's a whole nother episode.
That's a whole nother episode. But I'm just pointing out that like staying in, you have to be built a certain way to stay in the system.
And you need somebody to help build you that way.
Fact. So
like 99% of us. 99% of us are not the Eric Thomases of the world, where we're self-motivated. 99% of us are not Kobe Bryant.
Eric Thomas didn't become Eric Thomas till he was older.
He didn't, but nonetheless, he can push himself now.
Yeah, now
but most of us need a coach.
We need
a tour guide, need a friend, need somebody to help us, to motivate us, to push us, to even guide us, to tell us where to go and where to stay from. You know what I'm saying? So
shout out to all the coaches that support GPS Podcast and Kikafers Academy. A. Donahue Baker. That's big homie, you know what I'm saying? Marquell Russell, David and Donnie, they had us on their podcast.
Facts.
I know I'm going to forget people, and I don't want to forget people.
Can't forget Texas, brother.
Oh, yeah, Antonio T. Smith Jr., all of Texas. We'll see you soon, Houston. We'll be out there, H-Town, what up?
Appreciate you.
We appreciate all Ashley. There's so many people that I could name, but...
And my favorite way of thanking people, there's no way we could pay you back.
But the plan?
But our plan is to show you that we understand.
Oh, Professor Devin, Atlanta, what up? If it wasn't for Professor Devin, we wouldn't even be here now. You know what I'm saying? Professor Devin, BSI, Beauty Supply Institute, shout out to y'all. So shout out to all the coaches. Oh, you know what? I'd be remiss in my duties to say the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan, my student minister, Brother Yakoya, just all the brothers who poured into me because I know nothing about manhood. I was, you know what I'm saying? I had to learn the hard way. Anyway, shout out to all the coaches that helped make us. We're not self-made. We were made by all those who poured into us. So our job and duty is to pour into other people, show love, give honor, and respect. It's GPS Podcast. I know I'm lit today. Y'all see my fit? I'm lit today.
Grow your passion to success.
Thanks. Yeah, what she said.
Can you imagine a place where young people become entrepreneurs? They learn about sales funnels, cryptocurrency, real estate, investing in property, making money, selling books, getting it. Well, check us out, kickinforacademy.org.